Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing great. And let's start with our first story, titled, I Cheated on My Husband with My Ex-Boyfriend. Devastated and guilt is ruining my life. I'm 29, Hubs is 31, X is 26. Me and my husband have been married for 4, whereas me and my ex have been together for 5. X was 17, I was 19 for anyone wondering. I always had an amazing chemistry with my ex. He was my first, and I was his first. We took each other's virginity. However, he was abusive. We moved in together when he was 19. We both worked. I eventually got pregnant when I found out he cheated on me multiple times throughout the relationship. He became abusive, and eventually I lost the baby. I never got off from it. My ex further turned abusive and manipulative, and soon after he broke up with me and he threw me out. I'm not very much attractive. I've got scars given to me by my ex, childhood trauma, and my parents weren't supportive of me and my ex. So when we broke up, they didn't help much as they were so righteous and believed it was my fault. I met my husband when I was 23 and worked for a small firm. He was one of our big clients. I was blown away by him. He was everything a woman would dream of: charming, young, handsome, got his life together, and damn humorous. We became friends, and after a year, we started dating. He was warm, felt at home, someone you could always count on. This is what makes me even more guilty. He always told me dignity was most important to him and how he hates cheaters. We got married a year later, and fast forward to now, we were doing great. 2 weeks back, my mutual friends organized a party, a homecoming type event where every high school friend of mine would be at. It was exclusively for us, and hence my husband couldn't join us. I saw my ex there. He's changed, looked amazing. I found out he improved a lot. I drank a few glasses and he came over asking me to dance. I told him I can't do it because I was married. My friends pushed over saying it was an innocent dance. I couldn't resist, and we danced a bit when he leaned in. It was a big mistake we kissed. It was passionate. Some people clicked our pics. I found this out later on. I wasn't me. I was drunk and barely in my senses. He pulled me over and we started kissing right on the dance floor while everyone was watching. I don't remember much, but he pulled me over and drove to his house. My husband called me multiple times, but I couldn't answer him. I woke up in the morning naked beside him. He showed me a video of us doing it and him saying, I love you, and I whispering it back. I'm devastated. I left his place and asked him never to contact me again. My husband was suspicious at first, but I lied to him that I was with friends. He bought this. My ex keeps sending me texts. I found out my friend recorded me and my ex kissing right in front of everyone and how we became a hot topic all around. I messed up. I destroyed my marriage. I found out later on he has a girlfriend, and it makes me want to throw up even more. I'm thinking of coming clean about it to my husband, but he told me cheating was a deal breaker. My husband is also a well-respected and esteemed person, so I won't have any chances to get a good job if we divorce. I don't know what to do. Please help me out. And the update? You guys are right. I can't undo what I did. I can't lie or gaslight him. It was my fault I went there and I gave in to the dance when I could have said no in a strict tone. I was drunk and I lost control of my consciousness. But this isn't an excuse. I screwed up, massively. I'm going to talk to him, come clean. He's a wonderful man. I know what I did, and all it matters now is how respectful I act. Either I can hide and he will find out sooner or later and divorce me, or I can come clean, and that way I can have a little bit of dignity left in me, and even if he divorces, I'll be glad I had the courage to come clean. It's evening here. He will be returning soon. I'll update if I can. Thank you. OP mentioned further. We have a prenup. I have a job. Thanks to him, he arranged a decent paying job for me. He runs his own business. Her soon-to-be ex-husband is a smart man. He got her to sign a prenup. Guess he saw this coming. And next, the second story. It's been 4 years. Does the pain ever end? 4 years ago, I discovered that my wife, 50, was cheating on me, 57. One evening after she'd had a bit too much to drink and fallen asleep, her phone kept going off. Based on an earlier interaction, I thought it was her sister trying to contact her, so I thought I'd reply, letting her know her sister had fallen asleep and she'd call her in the morning. I was greeted with graphic pictures of my wife and a man along with sexual comments. I learned she had an app that she used to communicate with this guy and that she typically logged out of the app, which was hidden, to avoid receiving messages from him when at home. She had left the app open and logged in while she was drinking. To make a long story short, a few weeks later I confronted my wife. She did not deny it, how could she? Told me things were over, that she'd ended it, and begged me for forgiveness. We agreed to work on our marriage and seek counseling, both joint and individual. I've done counseling sessions and read countless books on healing, building trust, etc. However, 4 years later, I'm still struggling. I can't get the images out of my head. I can't get the comments out of my head. I'm a mental mess. The nature of her affair was purely physical. She met this person on a popular affair website, and I'm confident they only met for sex. There are no emotional ties. I expected I'd be further along in my journey than I am. Sometimes I feel like I'm back to the day I opened her phone. Most days I wish I'd never touched her phone, as I feel like not knowing would have been better. I don't know why I'm posting other than getting this off my chest. The only people I've shared this information with have been our joint and my one-on-one therapists, as it's pretty humiliating. I promised her we'd work this out and stay together, but the pain doesn't go away, and I'm not sure I can live the rest of my life like this. When does the pain stop? It does not, even after decades. There was this comment that struck me the most. Sorry, sir, but there is no getting better or fixing what she destroyed. My dad found out my mother was cheating on him with her boss. When he confronted her, I was 13 and my older sister was 17. She broke down saying her boss has made her feel alive and beautiful again, but she was sorry, and it wouldn't happen again. They went to therapy, and he tried everything he could to get her to fall in love with him again. On the 5th anniversary of that day, he showed up at her work to take her on a trip for the weekend and caught her and her boss in her car in the parking lot. He ended up self-deleting that day. That was 15 years ago, and I haven't spoken to my mother since. When it came out what had happened, she dropped myself and my sister at our grandparents' house. She would try to visit on the weekends, but I never wanted to see her. So if anything, please just take care of yourself. I know some people say things can be fixed and go back to how they were. However, that's not always the case. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you can be free from that stress and torment. And now to the update. I posted a while back about getting over my wife's affair and when the pain goes away. Discovery Day was 4+ years ago. The majority of the response I received from people who reconciled was, "It doesn't go away." Many of these replies were from people who were 10+ years into their reconciliation. We did the work, including individual and joint therapy, open devices, polygraphs, reading books, etc. We did the work to save our marriage. But the pain didn't go away. The images in my mind wouldn't go away. Then several weeks ago, my wife came to me letting me know that her affair partner was trying to reach her again and showed me an email from him. She was honest and upfront. She had not communicated with him, but just her receiving the message set me back. Even though she had nothing to do with initiating the message, it was the straw that broke my back. I decided I could not go on living like this. The pain wasn't going away, and I couldn't live my life with these thoughts and worries. On July 6th, I moved out of our home. The following week, I filed for divorce. The divorce will be uncontested since we had a prenup pending the valuation of some joint assets. It will be quick and easy. No children, no spousal support. I also reached out to AP's wife and shared with her the information regarding the affair and that her husband had recently reached out to my wife, wanting to rekindle their affair. In the beginning, I took the position not to involve his wife, I suppose, as a threat to keep him from contacting my wife, and I also knew the pain it caused me. Well, he effed that up for himself and his family. The wife wants to meet me for the proof, as under the advice of my attorney, I'm not sending any information regarding the affair electronically. We're meeting tomorrow after she gets off work. I'm torn as I'm about to do to this person what was done to me. Turn her life upside down. Wreck it. It will never be the same. I'm also torn about what to show her in terms of proof. My biggest issue was the images. For me, they were devastating. I'm not sure if I'll share these with her or not. The last 30 days have not been easy. Friends and associates are asking what happened. They're in shock. We've both decided not to share the why other than saying we grew apart. It's so sad. A message to the cheaters out there. Think about what you're doing and what you will do to your spouse, family, etc., and yourself. She regrets what she's done every day of her life. She destroyed us, our marriage, me, and herself. And for what? If you want it that bad, get out of your marriage and don't put the person you love or once loved through this hell. Don't put yourself through this hell. She still texts me every day saying how sorry she is and that she loves me. Should have thought about that 4 years ago. The last 30 days have been difficult, very difficult. However, not once have I questioned my decision. I tried to reconcile and she tried, but I finally decided I could not live the rest of my life like I was living. I deserve to have a clear mind. I deserve to be happy. Whatever that looks like, we'll see. And the last story? Ex-wife left for affair partner and returned after 10 years and asks to take her back. Me, 34 male, my ex-wife, 35 female, let's call her ex, my neighbor, affair partner, My neighbor's wife, 37 female. Call her M. My wife and I married in 2009. We had our baby in 2010. In November 2010, while she was asleep, a message popped on her phone and was a flirty message. I checked on her phone and it was from our neighbor. I went through every single message, which included sexting, sharing nudes, and even had planned meetups at hotels. This was going on from the first week into our marriage. I felt like my world crumbled in front of me. I took screenshots of every message and saved on my phone. Next day, I contacted M and let her know about the affair. They were married for 4 years and had their first baby almost exact same time as we had ours. I confronted my wife and told her that I am going to give her divorce. She started crying and everything else, but I did not consider it. I also did paternity test on our child, son, because the affair timeline was same as conception date. After 2 days when I came home from work, our baby was crying in our bed and X was nowhere to be seen. Then I found a letter from her telling me that she did not love me and she had left with a fair partner and to not contact them. I knew this was coming, but I didn't believe that a mother could leave her child, was about 6 months, alone, and run off with her lover. I then went to M's house. She had received the same letter from her husband. I felt sorry for her as she was going from postpartum depression, had her baby just a few months ago, and was left alone. Also, paternity test result came back and he was my son. I tried to contact X family, but they also didn't know where she was, and was shocked by her behavior. Her father even said that if she ever came back, she would not be allowed to enter their house. They basically disowned her. M was very supportive. She began coming to my home to watch kids, and even breastfed both of them, her and mine. As time passed, we were like family. My son called her mom and had known only her as mom. We also decided to go on dates. We got engaged a year later and married in 2013. We had our first child in 2015. We often discussed things about our exes and how we were often disrespected by them. We are a happy family. In 2018, my son accidentally saw a picture of my ex, picture after birth, so it included X, me and him. So we decided to tell him that his birth mother, X, had died in a car accident years ago, and M took care of him since he was 6 months old. 2 days ago, I received an anonymous email. I opened it and it read, "I want to see my son and want my family back. We are not divorced yet." I knew it was X. I showed this to M. M started freaking out and asked me if I would take her back. I calmed her down and told her that she was an ugly past and I would never leave you. I would never take her back. Now I'm confused about what to do. I will definitely not take her back, but should I let her meet my son or not? Should I take my son's opportunity to have a connection with his birth mother? Edit. Thank you for such response. I've missed a lot of detail to tell you guys. First is that I have divorced her before marrying M. I think she don't know as she was nowhere to be found. Second is that I had full custody of my son as X was nowhere in the picture, but now she is back, so I don't know if my full custody will be maintained or not. Now to the update. A lot has happened since the last time. So let's start by saying that we didn't require a court or lawyer. Some of you claimed that she would have no parental rights over my son as she had abandoned us years ago. To confirm the claim, I contacted my friend, who is a lawyer, and confirmed that she could face a heavy fine, termination of parental rights in jail. I told him about the time period of abandonment and asked what were the chances of winning in my case. He told me that if a parent fails to physically contact a child for over a year, 99% he or she is given termination of parental rights. I had a sigh of relief after listening to those words. I also joined therapy with my son so that I can tell him the truth about his biological mother. As I wanted to find out why she contacted me after 10 years, I messaged her father, who is still a best friend of mine and gives me some good advice, whether X contacted his family or not. Turns out that she had contacted her sister for money from time to time for 10 years, but now her sister is not willing to help her as she was asking for a bit more money. I asked him about her conditions and whether introducing her to my son would be a good idea or not. He answered by saying she just has a minimum wage job and lives in a small apartment with 3 roommates. By listening to him saying this, I felt bad for her, but she earned it. He said that she would have a bad influence on our son, so it's better not to introduce him to her. Next, I called her sister and asked her what their conversations were like in the past 10 years. She told me everything. How X contacted her only for money because after paying rent, she had no money left for groceries and other utilities. X never asked about my son, but only for money. I asked her about relationship between X and AP, to which she replied, "He is in prison for sexual assault since 2015. I don't know why, but I felt happy upon hearing this news. I asked her whether X knows about the divorce or not. She said X has no idea about the divorce and she still thinks that we are legally married. I asked her to tell X about everything: divorce, child custody, my new family, and that she has no right over my son. I told everything to M, and she was a bit surprised by X's behavior. She never thought that a mother can be so careless towards her own child. She was shocked to hear the news about AP. It's been 30 days and X has not contacted us. Family counseling is going great, and we have decided to legally adopt one another's kids. I don't think X will contact, as her sister might have told her about her position in the case legally, and that she would just waste money by hiring an attorney. If something happens, I'll update you guys. Tell your son the truth when he's old enough that his mother abandoned him for some sexual predator. I doubt he will miss her much after that. And that's it for today. Dear viewers, don't forget to press like and subscribe so you never miss out. Until next time, bye-bye.